welcome to Popcorn and Bottles. Puberty's rough, man.
Oh, sir, we're going to watch a movie from the 80s.
Welcome back to what we are calling Re-Education Month. Some of us might not have been born when this movie came out. I'll let you guess who. We watched the original, the 1980. Was it 85 or 86?
86.
Yeah, they keep saying 85 in the movie, but it was okay. The 1986 movie, The Highlander.
The Clancy Brown vehicle.
The Clancy Brown vehicle.
Mr.
100%.
Krabs.
Mr. Krabs himself.
Oh, SpongeBob. Money.
Give me the prize.
And we're already
That's
off.
exactly how he sounds in,
Yeah.
In the movie. This is the
It's the
inspiration.
Kurgan. The Kurgan was the inspiration for Mr.
The
Krabs.
Kurgan is Mr. Krabs.
Yeah. With me is Luciano,
Ah, yes.
Chris,
I've gone blind.
Spencer,
I am the last one.
and me, Matt. Chris, why don't you tell us why the Highlander?
Right. So this being Re-Education Month, our viewers, all 0 of them, need to absolutely have this on their awareness and radar because it's got everything you freaking need in a sleeper hit throwback from the 80s. Swashbuckling.
Okay.
Yeah.
thank you. What?
Special effects.
We are going to have words.
Many words. Sean Connery. And then really and truly.
That's fair.
Yes.
Yeah, for me, that was the biggest draw as like a 16-year-old because I stumbled onto this movie thanks to Dragon Ball Z, an AMV with Princes of the Universe, Queen's Princes of the Universe, spliced to DBZ films. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And like the internet was helping me connect the dots. I'm like, oh, what's this? And then
The internet.
the internet was helping me, and then the 1995 TV show of Highlander was like
Oh,
gaining
boy.
momentum. And then I was like, wait a minute, this all goes back to 1986. I check it out, and I was like, holy shit, this thing is dope as F. Romance and sci-fi. And fantasy.
He said cokedly.
He said go-
Very, very coquetly.
I need to step in here and just. This movie is 40 years old, so if you watched it, when Chris says stuff like romance, this was
Yeah,
the
no.
80s, so
Yeah.
80s
we
romance.
understand.
Yeah.
And I don't think those romances even happened in the 80s, but they were allowed to put it on film,
They happen in 80s movies.
so that's a thing.
They got away with a lot more than they would nowadays.
I'm
And they
just-
should have.
They should have. I'm just saying it's the 80s, and we're not saying it's cool. We're just saying the 80s were a better time. I mean, no, it's
Wait, what?
bad.
when I was 16 and I watched this movie from the 80s, it was
You were
was
born
better
in
than-
1970?
no.
You didn't watch it in the
I didn't
theater.
watch it. I didn't watch it in 1986 when I stumbled upon it at 16,
Spencer-
at the age of 16.
Spencer,
I was
not
like,
everybody
whoa.
goes to the theater at 9 and watches movies they have no business watching at 9
Well, that
Yeah.
sounds like a you problem.
On the Sci-Fi Channel. Yeah.
on the Sci-Fi Channel. That's still a thing. Who knows? Let's talk about what we liked about this movie. The Highlander, the Clancy Brown 1986 vehicle, as we previously discussed. I'm just trying to fill in the words so we don't have to talk about this movie forever. Let's
go first.
go with Luciano.
The best, by far, the best thing about this movie is the soundtrack. It's fucking genius. They not. It's not that they got a couple of songs from Queen. They went to Queen and said, "Hey, please do the soundtrack for this movie."
Yes, that's what you
Best
do.
decision that the whole fucking production crew made. Amazing throughout. I had to believe that someone who dresses and thinks and acts like Kurgan listens to Queen. It's a little bit of a stretch of my suspension of disbelief, but I'm here for it.
I know
by
his
far
name. Freddie Mercury.
This music matched the 80s vibe, but not the movies vibe, if that makes sense.
It could have matched the movie's vibe, but they didn't actually use it enough.
I mean,
Who Wants to Live Forever fits really well. Probably the one
like
that fits the best.
lyrically,
And Kind of Magic as well, which I wish they played more during the movie. But,
I mean, when it's like in the friggin' 1700 Scotland, and it's like, "Fantastic Dark News," I'm like, totally, maybe.
Hey, Spencer, when were you born?
1990.
Shut the hell up.
Yeah, I feel
Anyway,
like when they made this movie, there's like 44% of the budget went to Queen, and the other
Probably.
44% went to Sean Connery.
They're quite close to the truth, actually.
and 22% went to the cartoons they made to be the prize at the end.
Yeah, oh yeah. Wow, I post blocked on that.
Worth it.
The Fantasia scene.
That's
Yeah.
fine. No, it was definitely
Yes.
worth it. Chris, why don't I'll go last. Chris, you go last because it's your movie.
Sure.
And we'll let you put the cherry on top of whatever the hell this is. I'm going to go next. Good Thing, right? That's what I'm supposed to go with.
Right.
I think my favorite part of this movie, I actually enjoyed the final fight scene in terms of like the way it was stylized for the 80s. Like it looked really cool being in that dark room where you can kind of see the outline of the guys sword fighting and stuff. Like obviously the sword fighting, choreography. I don't know if choreography existed in the 80s.
Choreography is not the word because that means it was thought of.
Yeah, like I don't think they had anybody helping them learn like to fight. Look cool, but just the way it looked, the way that part was filmed was pretty cool, especially given the 80s and where they were at. I yield my time. Spencer?
I actually made a note because this one thing stands high and above everything else in the movie, and that is the on-location scenery.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in the first act of the movie. That's the one thing in this movie that's actually better than like modern movies.
Yes.
I was like, they're standing on a real mountain overlooking the real like cliff sides of Scotland, or maybe not Scotland, but somewhere. And it looked fantastic. There's one scene where they're standing on a very small cliff, and you can tell they're really trying not to lose their footing, and they're barely touching swords because you can tell they're like, someone will die here. There's no safety precaution.
We are not, as it turns out, immortal.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you imagine the training scene, like when Connor finally learns to like disarm him, and Ramirez's sword goes barreling down the mountain? What kind of fucking conversation did they have? Ramirez was like, "What have you done?
Oh fuck!
I've trained you, I've prepared you, and this is how you repay me."
I expected him to jump off after it.
That's the fight. That's the fastest way, really and truly.
I expected him to tell, "Oh, you threw it. You go fucking." They just toss him out the fucking mountain.
You go get it, you sexy man. You sexy beast of a man. Trigger warning for Sean Connery, bad impressions.
Yes.
Not great. Okay, so that's Spencer. Actually, Chris, before we go, we have a special guest who wants to tell you about his favorite part of the movie. Christopher Lambert, are you here?
Hello. It's good to be here. Ha, 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 ha. First time, long time.
We got him on the call.
Did you all enjoy my film, The Highlander?
I watched it 2.5 times to get ready for this.
You know what the best part is that Spencer is nailing the like wandering accent.
Perfectly. A little Christoph Waltz.
Yeah.
Listen,
Sprinkle it
you
in.
absolute fools. You do not make fun of Christopher Lambert. I am the last one.
I'd like to walk you home, Brenda.
I'd like to walk you home
You must
that your
leave
favorite
here,
part?
brother.
room. I'd like to brush your hair.
Okay.
I'd like to brush your
Smell
teeth.
you. I noticed you had a gun. Please stab me, and then I'll stab you back.
You must rehumanize yourself.
Thank you, Juan Ramirez.
I
My
am also
pendejo.
Egyptian.
My
My
friendly Egyptian man.
My Egyptian pendejo.
I've tried haggis, and I have to say,
Oh
not a fan.
man, I have to say, the most surreal experience I had in this movie was watching Sean Connery ask with the most Scottish accent ever, "What's a shaggish?"
Yeah.
And then
One tragger.
Christopher Lambert with the least Scottish accent ever trying to explain to him. I was like,
Haggis
what
is
am I watching?
Intestine. Well, of course, you eat it.
It was so fucking surreal. That whole, I was like, how can someone have shot the scene and went, nope, yep, that's the one.
You
Let's
silly
go.
Spanish Egyptian bastard.
Thanks.
I'm not Spanish, I'm Egyptian.
Thanks, Christopher. That was great. Go
Thank
away.
you for having me. I will sit back and listen and potentially jump in if I feel so inclined.
Great. That'll be just the best for everybody. Chris, regular podcast member, Chris. What was your favorite part of this movie?
16-year-old Chris's favorite moment was when Ramirez was facing off against Kurgan, and then like my first time seeing it, I was like, holy moly, like Ramirez might make it out of this alive, and then Ramirez, like, just as they go up the steps, and Ramirez is like boom in the boom in the chest, and he's like, yeah, it hurts, yes, and I was like, get him, Sean, get him. But then we know, whatever, don't question 16-year-old Chris. I was like, get him, Sean, because like James Bond. And then current day Chris, my favorite part is actually also the final scene, like waiting to see Kurgan get his comeuppance do after all that damage. And like, honestly, after watching all of Connor's friends and all the people across his lifespan, like he had a bond with Castigier. I wanted Kurgan to get effed up. And so, and then the music swells, and then they're facing off, and then like as soon as Brenda comes in and like buys him that moment to like grab a sword and go back at it again, I'm like, this is like the 80s moment where everything comes together, and then you get that payoff. And the prize, honestly, the prize itself, like when he gets it, wasn't as exciting as everything between the fight and then when Connor when you get the camera swooping and zoom, there can be only one. That was it. That's the cut. Well, not yes,
that. Like I said, the soundtrack is amazing.
Yeah, man.
I have a follow-up question, Chris. What do you think of the prize for winning the gathering? Being the only one,
the last one standing. Yeah. So
may stand. That's what it is, right?
You get to age. You can have children, and then you can read the thoughts. You could read the thoughts of any person on the planet. I think that's pretty cool, but at the same time, like, you're gonna age, but I feel like it'd still be kind of cool if you could opt in or out. Like, do you still, like, if you've lived for centuries and now you can have kids, now you have this extra ability. What if you're so used to being an immortal and you want to stay that way, or do you choose to become immortal with these abilities? It would have been interesting to have modifications as the one, like, you won the prize, but I guess you can't really choose, right? So the prize on paper, cool, because that's what so many of them wanted, right? Like Connor wanted to be with his first wife. He a lot of them want love and that have some degree of sanity and morals about them to create families and stuff. So I think it's pretty cool.
The real prize was the coke I did with Clancy Brown in our trailer.
It's better to burn out than to fade away. Cokedly.
We bought it off Sean Connery.
Yes. It's the best.
Scottish, I mean Egyptian cocaine is the best one.
We call it booger sugar.
Okay. Great job. It was very funny. Well, let's ask a different question entirely.
New question.
New question. Is that okay?
Different question.
Different question. I'll let Chris finish pouring his water.
Oh, you can hear that? My bad. My bad. Cokedly.
Yeah. Okay. Chris's water pouring is done. I don't know where to start with this movie. It's so many things with this movie. Let's just talk about the Highlander in general. The idea, I think, is one of my favorite ideas in terms of a sci-fi or fantasy movie. The idea that these immortals fight and only one of them will win at the end of it. Sounds really fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to unpack the 1986 of this all.
Yeah, I like so without going too far into the weeds of the explanation of things, but like back home, like in Brazil, where I watched this the first time, many times that I watched this when I was young, this was like we didn't have cable until like the beginning of the 90s. So this was on public TV. Sometimes you just turn on, you get it in the middle. So like I watched this movie maybe 12 times from different places, and I used to love this movie. And
used to
before Chris made me watch it again, I was like, this is one of the greatest action movies of all time.
Oh.
And I realized that this movie, I watching this movie, I broke a rule that actually became
You didn't know existed until you broke it?
So we all know that we can't really watch movies that we liked as kids. Like it's kind of something that people know, but there's a thing in Brazil called the rule of 15, which is if you watched a movie before when you were 15 or younger and you love it, don't watch it again, you're going to ruin it. And this movie is probably, for me, the poster child of that rule. Because if you had asked me before I watched it again this week, I would have said, no, it's great. The acting, other than Christopher Lambert, is great. The special effects are probably dated, but they're fine. The story is cohesive. And now I feel like this is one of those movies that were sort of dated from the moment they came out because of the aesthetics, we didn't care back then, right? Like at least I don't remember caring too much about, this special effect doesn't make any sense. Oh, I don't understand why walls are exploding when they're hitting them with swords. Yeah. I don't care. It's cool, right? So I think this is a very roundabout way of answering a little bit of your question, Matt. I think is the 80s of it all is the problem with this movie now.
Yeah.
It's too 80s. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's like at some point I feel like people try to make movies that would be a little bit more timeless through their approach. And this movie is just like, we're making a movie, and so it's the 80s, and here you are, and this
is what you get, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if I'm looking at movies from when I was 15 in 2005 that came out in theaters to see if they'd hold up. And I don't know if I'd still love Get Rich or Die Trying.
No, you don't have to go that far. Like you probably watched movies it maybe earlier, but like the 2001, the 2001 Tomb Raider. There.
Watch your fucking mouth.
Well,
watch your goddamn fucking mouth.
But let's talk
you
about
keep Angeloni You keep Angeloni Joe alive.
Angelioni's and the lead star.
The pepperonis out of your goddamn mouth.
Angeloni's.
No, but even you look at a movie like The Matrix, which was in 1999. There are some things where you're like, oh, there are some 1999 things about it.
Oh, very much
but
so, yeah.
It still is a story that kind of transcends that, even though it's a alt universe as much as it's a future movie, so it helps separate
Terminator
it,
2, right?
Yeah.
It's 92.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah. So it just hold up better. I don't know if it's because they got into the 90s, but it's interesting that like the 80s just didn't give a fuck.
They were doing their thing.
They were. Cokedly.
Listen, I don't know if Star Wars Revenge of the Sith holds up.
It does not.
Revenge of the Sith? Which
one
was that?
Not.
The third and sixth.
2003? No, wait, 2005?
2005. That's what I'm saying. When I was 15, I saw it.
Yeah. It does not hold up.
It didn't hold up then either.
Yeah. This movie sucked, not because it doesn't hold up.
That one
you can't blame on
that movie didn't need 2005 to suck.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Return of the Jedi didn't need to wait 15 years to suck either.
It was supposed to be the chosen one.
You keep Luke Skyroni's name at your goddamn mouth.
Like Skull Rocket.
Jabroni.
Can I ask some questions about forensics in the 80s?
You can and should.
You should. You should.
Yeah.
How
Yes.
forensics? Who forensics?
forensics?
Where forensics?
Yeah.
When
What forensics, really?
Why forensics?
Yeah.
I was willing to accept that when the guy came in and he had a little bit of like sword shavings in a baggie or something.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
That wasn't the first baggie we had on set, I'll tell you.
I
I remember asking Sean Connery for,
Okay,
we were
great.
hunting for the White October.
Yeah.
Yes, and you found it.
Hey, did that movie come up before this one or after?
I said, give me the rock.
That's a
And
much
then I
better
sh-
reference.
And then I said, "Pass the duchy to the left-hand side."
And I said, I want my cocaine shaken and
My
stirred
cocaine,
in
I'm
a
here.
bag.
Does someone call me? Anyway,
Jabroni.
so what you were saying about the shavings of the sword, Matt?
Forensics.
Yeah. They put it in like a jar in a computer, and the computer is like, oh, this is metal that's been folded 2,000
200
times.
times, yeah.
200 times from like 2,000 years ago. I
And
don't think that's how.
she goes back and she pulls like a fucking dagger out of that wall,
You
like
don't
half a sword.
you don't think
Yeah.
they have ancient sword metallurgy databases in their police computers?
Man,
I don't
that's
think
her
that-
major. She wrote a Bible on it.
I don't think that printer could
Yeah.
analyze that metal.
Oh man, that matrix printer.
Remember when it matched all the fonts? That was cool.
Oh yeah, in the computer lab.
Yeah.
It's like
I actually
Select-
appreciated that visualization.
yeah, it was like
Of-
select all capital letters.
yeah.
Wow, the typography on this is top notch, chief.
I like how he like sees 6 signatures and he's like, "This man is immortal."
Yeah.
Yeah.
like that's all the evidence he
What
needed.
this means is the same man has been selling his property to deceased children since the 1970s.
stealing their identity.
But since the 1700s. It's like,
He probably
the
goes by
fuck?
Connor McLeod.
If I had to
Does
guess.
he have a Scottish lilt? No, a French one. Okay, that makes sense.
If I had to guess,
Do you think he could get he could get me like a discount on my car insurance, Brenda?
too far.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Geico, jabroni.
Okay.
Yeah,
Geico's the
he's
punchline.
stuck-
Geico's
he's
always
stuck-
the punchline.
He's
Fair
stuck
enough.
3 jokes ago, so it's okay.
That's fine. Yeah, so like, you know, well, I keep going back to the 80s-ness of it because like I feel I
This
want to
movie's-
like this movie so much, and it's just
I used to like this.
This is
movie
how you
so
know the
much.
movie's the 80s. This movie opens with a old 40-year-old hairy man wearing the Confederate flag
yeah.
stripping while a 10-year-old girl licks her lips.
Yeah,
And I was like,
it's not a good
okay,
sign.
we
Yeah.
we are in a
We're off.
different time and we're off. Yeah, that was how I knew we were in a time capsule. Like literally I was like, what movie is this? Like I've never seen this movie, so I was like, thought this was about fucking like Scottish swordsmen. I'm like, what the fuck?
I mean,
Oh, and we
got
all
there.
watched the director's
The director's cut, yeah.
yeah,
right?
We needed more.
we did
Yeah.
need more, so much more.
I'm dying to know what was cut out.
Everything, all of the pieces that connect the story in a meaningful way. I would assume.
No, this is the
Also-
director's cut. There
So
should be more.
just
in
like the
this.
director's cut.
You're asking about the theatrical cut. What was in the theatrical cut? Yeah.
Yeah, like what was cut for the theatrical cut? Do you think they had the stripping Confederate flag wearing wrestler?
Yeah, you have to have that. That sets the tone of the movie.
That
I think
is
they
it.
cut out.
That was in
That's
it.
the theme.
do you think they cut some of Fazil's backflips? Maybe
They kept that.
Not if
They
they're not
kept
if they
that.
Also,
not if they
important.
know what they're doing.
not if they know what the fuck they're doing.
There was more. There were more backflips in the theatrical cut. Fazil. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a gymnast and a scholar.
Seal.
Yeah.
That whole fight is the most
Faisal?
like. That whole fight was
Geico?
when I realized I was like, oh, my nostalgic goggles.
You're
are
like,
not
this is
gonna-
not how my brain remembers
yeah,
this scene.
exactly.
I picture
like-
like them fucking like jumping off the
McLeod.
walls, fucking
Like
doing
the worst thing
sick.
for me is like they how they kept disappearing. Like
Yeah.
you swing and disappear. Like there's one scene where the sprinklers come on for no reason, and then Fezzel tries to hit McLeod, and he ducks and disappears, and then he appears fucking on the other side of the parking lot. Like running.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck is happening?
They didn't play. They didn't. That goes back to the choreography thing.
Yeah.
Let's get
They
a
were
shot
just
of you behind them.
You guys fight. Just go.
Yeah.
Go with it.
You
One
sound
of
over
the
there.
actors- one of the actors left for lunch. Oh, there he is. He's coming back.
Listen, Lambert. You and Fazil just figure it out. I'll be over here. The camera's rolling.
Yeah, don't stop the cameras. Never stop.
Never
the
stop the
cameras.
cameras.
No.
What did you say? Sorry,
Yeah.
me and Clancy Brown were taking a ride
Sorry, what?
through
What? Huh?
Save some
Winter
for me.
Wonderland.
You a disgusting hash. Save some.
Or as we call it in my country, Sprickensouch. What country? No one knows.
No one knows.
I mean,
I honestly thought he was Belgian, but he's not.
yeah, he's like
He's French American.
he's just a mix, just a
Yeah.
mutt.
I don't care
Actually,
what you
one of-
say. This is not a French accent.
I want to actually find an interview with Christopher Lambert speaking French, because I'm sure he has a fucked up accent in French too.
No,
Oh, here you go.
Bonjour. Je m'appelle Christopher Lambert.
Yeah,
You know what,
yeah, I
somehow-
can see that. I can see that.
Je
Somehow
veux
ugly.
cocaine.
Où est la bibliothèque?
that almost went Spanish there. It was very
Yeah, he did.
Biblioteca.
You almost did a Connery impression there.
No,
Yes. Où est la
Wow, you're-
bibliothèque?
You are such a pendejo.
yeah, hearing him speak French is like hearing Sean Connery speak Spanish.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
bang on.
She
I think it's now time to steer in.
Pendejo.
I'm going to steer into our plot holes here
Okay.
because you're all lost in doing impressions just slightly, and hopefully this will bring you back to a point where you can use the impressions meaningfully.
Okay, there's more. There's more
Let
parts
the
of the
man
movie I
cook.
want to discuss.
Spencer, let the man cook, Spencer.
I mean, if
Fine.
if you want to spend more time talking about other parts of this movie, you should have spent less time pretending to do cocaine as Christopher Lambert.
You shut your whore mouth.
I just want to point out. I don't know if anyone else. There's one scene. Maybe I just wanted to say, because I meant to say this earlier. There are so many scenes of this movie that made me laugh.
Oh yeah.
Like out loud laughing alone. Like I watched it alone and I was laughing out loud, which doesn't happen even when I watch comedies. There's one scene that when he's fighting Sean Connery, Christopher Lambert's fighting Sean Connery, and
Training?
Sean Connery's training him, and Sean Connery's
Yeah.
beating him up, and then his wife is laughing at him, and then he goes like, "Heather, please."
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
so genuine. Like,
Yeah.
he's like it's like a lighthearted scene where they're like everyone's laughing. It's like a good time. He's like,
Heather, please.
Yeah.
and he's like pouring out tears, and I was laughing so hard at that scene. 'Cause it was like done like a comedic cut. Sorry, I just wanted to bring up that scene in particular
Yeah.
because if I didn't say the scenery, that was my favorite scene of the movie.
That's that is the best acting Christopher Lambert did in the entire movie.
whole movie,
as
yeah.
a matter of fact.
Like,
It's very
Christopher, this is a
believable.
playful scene. We're all having fun here. He's sort of like messing with you, and your wife's laughing. He's like,
I got it.
Heather,
please.
please.
Cinema! Christopher, cinema! Anyway.
Yeah.
Thank,
That and when they jump cut to the old lady on the hood of the car.
Mom!
Yeah, exactly. Mom.
I love that.
Or the backflip where he drops the sword, does a backflip, and picks it up again. Fazil?
I mean, there's so many golden
Yeah.
moments. They're hard
I laughed.
break into.
I rewound that scene like a couple of times. I was like, "Where is the sword? Oh, he picks it. He drops it. Oh my god, what is happening?"
It's called
Yeah.
choreography.
It's not. It's not called that.
Work for seal. Work.
And anyway, Matt, you want to talk about plot holes?
no, I'm good. We don't need to. We're fine.
We don't have to.
That part gave me too much joy to not bring up, so I yield my time.
Matt, please.
Matt, please.
Do it like Christopher Lambert.
Matt, please.
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 Let's talk about plot holes. We had two I think, that are pretty obvious.
Okay.
One is pretty big. I don't know a better way to term it than it's the rules of being an immortal in a, kill each other to the death competition.
Right.
Because they kind of they give us a high level overview of, oh yeah, you all fight and chop each other's heads off, and then the last one wins the ultimate prize, and as you kill them, you get more power. That's all fine, but inside of that, so many things happen that make me ask many questions, such as how other people know that you're an immortal, and like from far away, like Ramirez, like was on a quest to find Connor McLeod for some reason, and
I
just
felt it all the way from Spain or
I
Egypt,
guess, or Egypt, where he's from.
Yeah.
And then we also have the Kurgan who just shows up at a battlefield to fight the McLeods. And it's like, don't kill
Specifically,
Connor
right?
McLeod. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, he
yeah.
specifically says, the boy is mine.
Yeah.
The boy being a 35-year-old man.
Who looked
Leave
the
the
same
boy
age
to-
as
Leave the boy
everyone
to
else.
me. Who's like,
Yeah.
I guarantee you, like Lambert was
he
older
was-
than Clancy
he-
Brown at the time.
He said they say he's 18. When
What?
he's, yeah, because he's going to his first battle.
That's right.
So he's,
They had
he's
the-
immortally 18.
the cousins ask him, "Are you scared? Are you scared?" I'm not. He's like, "Yeah, I remember when I was 18, I went to my first battle. I was scared shitless." Blah blah blah.
Well,
They do say that.
Spencer, you bring up Luciano's right. That's how we know he's 18. But you bring up a good point. And this is another thing I don't understand about the powers. And you kind of got to explain it a little bit, because when do you stop aging as an immortal?
Yeah, this is the
Because
first
Sean
time
Connery
you die.
is old as hell.
That's true.
Don't come.
Was
don't
it
come
in the
here-
movie?
Don't come here with fandom.com.
Don't
Chris.
go.
We
Don't come
want
with,
that.
with Lander High Wiki.
Highlander weekend.
Highlander Wikipedia.
Actually,
Oh no.
you're the immortality triggers when you first die. So
Yeah.
in Ramirez's case, like that was his age when he died and became an immortal. So that's that's what it is.
That retconning wasn't good enough for fucking Star Wars bringing the Emperor back, and it's not good enough here.
And secondly, then you'd see a lot more old fucking Highlanders, because most of them don't die when they're fucking 20 on the average of people's deaths.
Well, I mean, back in the day, you probably died pretty early because of all the things that wanted to kill you, like dinosaurs and dysentery. And
Diphtheria, Oregon Trail,
Raptors.
pretty much all the dangerous D's, if you will.
Yeah, like
the dangerous
cholera,
D's.
Cholera, war,
Dwayne Johnson.
dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
jabroni.
Digimon.
Yeah.
They're the worst.
Also, do they ever say in the movie that when you kill someone you get more powerful? Because I don't remember them saying it in the movie.
That actually was I wanted to ask that. What exactly is happening when they kill one of them?
It looks like they're like getting electrocuted by power, but
Well,
It looks like Jet Li's the one situation.
yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. But is that the quickening?
What's the quickening?
That's
He just
also my
said this is
question.
the quickening. I thought the quickening was jumping off a cliff into water.
They ran across the beach and jumped off a cliff, and that was the quickening.
Yeah.
But also,
The quickening is two things. It's
Oh my
the
god! What is
weird.
this Wikipedia?
Keep saying it. The funny thing is that
It's the
Connery,
Haggis
or
media.
rather, yes, Ramirez's explanation on the beach when he's like, "You could connect all living things." They in Highlander lore, they never talk about that again. Like they ignore it. But
what is this Highlander lore stuff? We gotta.
What? Now I know why he picked
I'm
this movie.
trying to-
He wrote it.
Yeah, Chris. Okay, real talk. I appreciate the lore,
But fuck your lore.
well,
Fine, great.
It's not presented in the movie.
It doesn't show up in the movie, right? That's why it
Fine,
makes it a
great.
plot hole, because they
Yes,
don't
it
give us
is.
any of this information, and
Yes.
it feels like someone somewhere was just like, "Oh, that shit was all fucked up. Let's
Yeah,
fill
they
it in."
watched
So
again.
it's,
Yeah, they watched again. I was like, "Yee, we didn't
Yeah.
explain that."
It's like
Yeah.
mitochondria all over again.
Oh no,
Midichlorians you're
You
looking
mean
for?
midichlorians?
Right.
Whatever.
So
Mitochondria.
according to the movie,
Same
that's
shit.
the quickening. Connecting to animals in life is the quickening, and then when you behead another immortal, you get all their power and knowledge.
is that the quickening too?
Yeah.
They're
In
both
this
the quickening.
movie, they're both the quickening. Based in
Right.
this movie, on this movie,
Yeah.
what they showed
So-
us, those are the quickening.
So the quickening is either connecting with nature or fucking murdering some bitch.
Well, no, the
Yeah.
murder is the conduit for the quickening.
I don't
If you
know.
want, if you want to get power, you have to either go fuck a deer or kill someone.
What is the fuck?
One or the
deer?
other.
Yes.
I thought the quickening was my sex life.
Highlander, feel the stag. Feel its
Up
blood.
your ass. Up your ass.
I let you get there. I let you get there.
He was always
Yeah.
getting there.
Me and
But so-
Chris should just recreate this whole movie with him as Sean Connery and
Maybe.
me as Lambert.
I'm sure it'll be better. But so, like, are there other things? Like, it's just so many things littered throughout the movie that just makes
Well,
me.
they like Connery. I like how we're not even trying to use the character names, but it's like Connery tells Lambert that when I first encountered me, you felt this pain, right?
Yeah.
We can feel each other, but then when fucking Kurgan
Right.
was stalking
Yep.
them, like they were super close, and he was like, "Man," all he does is like, "Huh."
Yeah, that was lame. Lame.
Yeah.
You're right. That was lame.
It doesn't make any sense.
The first time you met Kirk, maybe it only happens when you first meet another Highlander.
No, they feel
Immortal?
each other. They feel each other all the time.
Yeah.
No, I know they
Sexually
feel each
and
other all the
coken.
time.
That too.
But maybe the pain that he gets only
Just like the
happens.
stag. Just like the stag, they feel each other all
Listen,
the
I'm
time.
trying to fill in the lore here.
You get off
Maybe they-
Wikipedia.fandom.highlander.net.
Maybe
What?
they only
the
feel
Hagispedia.
they only feel the pain like when they first meet another immortal. Because when he first meets
But
Kurgan.
Ramirez.
Sean Connery says no. The first time it was debilitating.
Yeah.
Now it's not as much. So you do feel it when you're close to each other. That's what he
Yeah.
says in
Yeah.
the movie.
But in the but
Not
he,
on, not on Wikipedia. In
but
the
he
movie.
first feels it when he's on the battlefield at the
he
very
feels
beginning of the
Kurgan.
movie.
But
Yeah.
he says he feels like Ramirez says you felt me when I approached, didn't you?
Yes.
It was painful. Right?
Yes.
And
But
you get
Connor
used to
didn't-
it.
Connor didn't feel anything before he became an immortal. In this
Yeah, of
movie,
course.
he didn't
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
it because he was still mortal.
Mortal,
But after
yeah.
that, once he became an immortal, yeah, he felt Ramirez. And
No,
then
he
over
did feel
time, it gets,
Kurgan in the beginning.
no, he didn't.
He did not.
He didn't. Like Kurgan showed up and he was just shocked, and he was he was confused because no one was fighting him. And then when Kurgan shows up, he was shocked.
Yeah.
And then got killed.
Let's fight, and then he opens both arms to let Kurgan stab him in the
Yeah.
chest.
Did Ramirez say this isn't the first time you felt this?
Well, yeah, because he felt it with himself the first time when they first met, Ramirez and Connor.
Ramirez showed up on them while they were having sex, and then and that
Right.
and he introduces himself. He's on the horse. They start talking, and then Connor's like, "Go in the house," and that's when Connor was feeling like
Yeah.
he was gonna throw up. That was the first time, according to Ramirez.
Yeah.
According to
So,
Ramirez.
but
remember
just the
my
fact
first
that we
time.
all have different accounts of it makes it bad, right?
Also makes it part of the plot hole, right? We're all
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to figure out when you feel or don't feel or
the buzz, the
yeah.
spidey sense.
The
Yeah.
quickening.
So it's
The-
interesting
the-
because
the-
they do leave a bunch of stuff unexplained, which is okay.
Sure.
What? We all what is the prize? We only find out at the end, and
At
it's
the end,
not
yeah.
important, right?
Yeah.
It's the briefcase in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
It's the coins in John Wick, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But some things that I think maybe they should have left more things unexplained because every time they try to explain it, it's contradictory. So
What are the phases, or not phases, but there's different things. There's the quickening.
Right.
There was other things. I forget the names of them.
The Gathering.
The Gathering, yeah.
the gathering is when they say that when there's only a few of us, we're gonna fill
Yeah.
a pool to a distant land, which is
Yeah.
America.
New York
York.
City.
Yeah.
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 Was there any other things?
No, not with
Quickening,
names like that.
Gathering.
I thought there was another one.
The prize, but yeah.
Prize.
The
And
Shining.
then The Shining.
Are these all trademarked?
There's another thing,
Maybe.
in the movie, when during the flashback training sequence, when Connor's like, if it just came down to the two of us, would you kill me? Or rather, would you,
Yep.
Ramirez, kill me? And
Yeah.
then Ramirez doesn't answer, but then immediately, but then after he's like, we have to fight until there's only one of us.
One. Yeah.
But the reason
So
is,
that's another thing they never really explain, why there can there be only one, why. And I'm not complaining. This is a good thing. They just leave it like it. Just understand that this is a thing. There are immortals. We don't know why they're immortal. They just are, and they have to fight to the death. That's it. So
I mean, but yeah, like they should at least say you will be compelled.
yeah,
It seems like they're
fair.
choosing to fight in this movie.
Yes,
It doesn't show that he's like compelled to fight the other Highlander. It seems like he's just going to wrestling matches and chilling.
Well, Connor has two friends who are immortals. Ramirez first, and then Castagier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they don't
They don't
seem
fight
to want
all
to
the
kill
time,
each other.
yeah.
No,
But then-
it's go ahead.
Well, that's my question is like, if you're compelled to fight, how, like, it's fine if you say you're compelled to fight, but then we just choose to not fight, like Spencer said. What is it? Like,
Yeah.
the compelling force of fighting is if you don't fight, Kurgan's gonna cut your fucking head off. That's the only
That's
yeah.
the only thing
compulsion I
that's
see.
shown. Yeah,
yeah.
till the end when he's
Kurgan-
like, I actually wants to kill Kurgan.
It would have been good if
Right.
they said, "Oh, there is a compulsion to fight, but you can fight, like you can resist it for a little bit." So that's why they're not together all the time. And maybe they could have shown even Ramirez, like, "Okay, I'm gonna have to leave for a while before we fucking kill each other."
Yeah.
Or it gets stronger the less immortals there are.
That's
Like,
what it
as
Yeah,
generally
that
is.
works
As
too.
it gets
that
down.
works too. Yeah.
Yeah, and then in the Madison Square Garden, like opening scene with like Connor and Fazir and stuff, I think it comes down to like the
Fazir?
character. Fazir, Vizier,
Fazil.
Fazil.
What is this
Whatever.
movie with casting
Vizier.
white guys as like other ethnicities? Like what the fuck is Vizier?
Yeah, also, the
He's just
guy's
like
name is
like
like a
Ted
super
Cruz.
like Arabic name or whatever. The guy looks like his name should be like, I don't know, John Brown.
he looks like
honestly-
he's
Something.
in
I thought the
line for
guy
the
from-
fucking British throne.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was the actor from the first Equalizer TV show. I'm like, what is the Equalizer doing in this movie? And
Yeah.
so like
First
like based on
Equalizer TV show.
I honestly, when I,
Yeah.
because I hadn't seen this movie in a long time, when Fazil shows up, I expected him to go, "Well then, shall we have a good fight, old boy?" Like that's what I was expecting him to sound, not like whatever it is that he has an accent, but I couldn't place it.
neither
Fazil.
could I. And it's like
Yeah.
it's like it comes down to like the character themselves. Like that guy, I call him Sunglasses because it was so huge. He had like a weird vibe about him. Like he struck me as villain, and like Connor was like, Fazil, wait, like
Yeah,
like
he didn't want to
let's
fight.
talk,
Yeah.
or like what are you like? Do you want to do this? And then he's like, all right, fine, let's go. And then they do it.
Chris, this is exactly the problem with the compulsion to fight.
Yeah, yeah.
Why isn't Connor McLeod want to fight anybody if he's allegedly compelled to fight?
Well, they don't
Good
ever explicitly state that they're compelled, right? But then it goes back to Spencer's point of like, why are they fighting then?
For
Yeah, they don't.
prize.
They say there's a prize, which is like,
But nobody
spread
knows
word
what it
of
is,
mouth.
right?
Sorry.
Like he would never know there's a prize unless Sean Connery like told him.
Yeah.
Well, so who? This is another question, and I don't know if it's part of this, but I just got like, who told him there was a prize? Like,
Yeah.
how is it? Just like someone made it up, and it's like when you're done, it's just like, all right, here's a fucking cheeseburger from
a-
Burger King.
White Castle, whatever.
Yeah, White Castle.
White
Have a good-
Castle. Yeah, White
You
Castle.
don't know about it yet, but your kids are gonna love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be great.
You're
Centuries
gonna
from now,
fucking hate it.
yeah.
When all
But
the
your kids are gonna
immortals
love
are
it.
down to the like 12, okay, you're gonna battle for something bullshit.
Just
No, You're gonna
yeah,
love
they
it.
tell him,
and you're
"No, you're going.
you're
The
compelled.
prize will be White Castle," and you go,
And like,
"Fuck,
oh
a
wow,
whole castle."
yeah,
And then
yeah.
you get a
not my
fucking,
color, but
you
I
just-
could paint it blue.
you just fucking get a boiled burger.
White Castle, White Castle,
Burger power,
White Castle.
Castle power.
fast food power.
But what if like the
yeah.
prize was decided like in the 1300s and it was like your own cow, the most
Yeah.
valuable thing you can have.
Yeah, you get 2 goats.
You get the wheel.
That was decided
You
when
never-
the first Immortal
you
came
never heard
out.
of it,
You
but-
get you
I
get
can-
fire.
I can roll everything. I can transport anything.
Yeah.
The invention of 1,000 years.
Maybe it's like a pyramid scheme. It's like, no, sure. There's a prize at the end for whoever wins.
But if you get 2 people to cut off 2 people's heads,
2 people's
and
other
those
heads.
2 people cut off other 2 people's heads.
What
And so
happens
on,
is if,
and so
if the
on.
people that are under you cut someone's head, then their heads come to you
You get a percentage of their heads.
of their power.
Right.
And
Of their
therefore,
heads. Like you get an ear.
my hearing increased by 2%.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's a good system. So could we? we try to improve the plot holes to some degree. Is there anything we can do quickly with this movie? Like, is it just not saying less? Like Luciano said, like their explanations on stuff suck, so just don't explain. Could they got away with that?
Is this to fix like the plot hole?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, not like a new movie.
Is that your solution to the plot hole?
Spencer,
chuck it.
You know how we do a preamble before the podcast, and we have this third section where we ask questions like this.
Did you watch the preamble?
That's where I was a little
How
confused.
much cocaine were you using during preamble?
Yeah, was that like to get into the mindset of Christopher Lambert?
I had to be him. I have to become him.
It's method podcasting.
It's method cocaining.
Future podcasting.
In order, yes.
Meth podcasting. Got it.
I think
Meth casting. Yeah.
I think some things need explanations, right? Like why
what?
are they fighting? You need to explain if there's a compulsion and how if there is a compulsion, like can they resist it or whatever, like that kind of stuff.
It needs
But
good
yeah,
lore.
I think for the most part, explaining less would have been better. I think.
Make it more mystical.
There's two
Because
ways you can do it. You can
here's the thing: when they did try to explain even more, that's when you got fucking Highlander 2, where with them being from fucking planet Zeast. So I don't think they should have.
We don't
talk
talk
about
about that. We
We don't talk about Highlander 2, and I'm
No, we
talking
don't.
about it.
There's not even the Renegade director's cut can save Highlander 2. We do not talk about it.
That movie's a fucking turd.
I don't acknowledge wikipedia.net.haggis.com, and I definitely don't acknowledge Highlander 2.
We ain't gonna do that.
That's a fair
subtitle.
Move away from.
That's the whole website.
But all I'm saying is when we ask people to explain more, that's what happened. So maybe they should explain less.
No,
is what I'm saying.
there's two ways to go. You can explain less and leave it to the imagination, but then it does lead to some holes. And you can, or you explain and go into detail, but it has to be thought out. What you can't do is what you're saying, which is explain it and it not be thought out and have all sorts of contradictory
it has to be explained
lore.
in a way that makes sense for sure.
Like it has to be thought up ahead of time and be like, because this movie, we can all agree, and everybody who knows Highlander agrees, the concept is awesome.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's such a great concept.
it's
but you
the
need
implementation. That's
you
the
need
problem.
someone to go through and be like, create lore that works.
Yeah,
And like when you start to like analyze it, because it's a cool world to have lore too, right? But
What's Zack Snyder up to?
Oh no! Can you imagine
He could
that
do it.
whole last fight would be in slow motion?
Peter Highlander is grain.
Grain. Grain, and I want coal-powered spaceships.
Yes.
And we need
Also,
Jaimin
the sword-
Hansu bellowing, "Yes, Holy Valence."
Also, all of the swords have to have faces in them.
Yeah, obviously. Okay, great, done. I have another plot hole I wanted to tackle quickly.
Okay.
I don't know how to say this other than
breathe it, work it out. You got it.
the accents.
The actor has a plot hole.
I fucking knew it.
It
It is a plot hole because nothing makes sense.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah, okay.
If Sean Connery and Christopher Lambert switched roles,
Right.
would that make their accents better?
We would have one decent accent.
You'd have a Scottish man playing a Scottish man.
Right.
Yes.
You'd have
And
a
a French American
you'd have
playing
a
a
French
Spanish Egyptian.
American alien
Yeah.
Right.
playing.
An Egyptian man pretending to be a Spaniard.
You can't tell me that his accent isn't Egyptian or Spanish because it.
No, you can't. You
truly
can't
is
tell
all
what his accent
accents.
is exactly. Yeah.
So I would say
guess-
The cop even asked him like, "You talk funny. Where are you from?"
All
I'm
kinds
from
of
your
All,
ass.
I'm from all cities all around.
That's
What
the
is that accent?
That's the
'Cause his-
Jean-Claude Van Damme thing, right? It's like, where are you from? Quebec, New Orleans, France.
Belgium.
Anywhere where they speak French but not France.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, because if he was playing Juan, you can't tell me that his accent doesn't sound like a combination of like 17 different accents. So it almost makes sense.
Sure, but hear me out on this. This is a fucking made-up story. These guys, especially the guy who the movie's not titled after, could be anyone from any
Anything.
place. Why did he have to be Spanish
Yeah,
Egyptian?
exactly. Why did he have to be a guy who,
true.
with a Spanish, like Villa Lobos is a Portuguese last name, by the way.
We're not even going to go there, yeah.
Why does he need to be a
Go
Spanish
there.
man who's actually an Egyptian played by the most Scottish person that has ever lived?
You know what's funny is I was thinking they could have like cast someone different for the Egyptian Spaniard, but you're right. He doesn't have to be Egyptian Spaniard
At all.
He could be anything.
He could be
And
Scottish.
If you
Think
had
about
Sean
that.
Connery, he could just be Scottish, and nobody would bat an eye.
Play a shelf.
You could
Yeah,
say,
just let him go ham on the accent because he never can. He never could, right?
and he traveled to Egypt as an immortal.
Sure.
He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to have gone
You need,
anywhere.
you need to explain
but-
why he has a weird sword from ancient.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to have that either.
But he
Shut your
does.
mouth.
He does. All the fix is already there. He could. Ramirez could be from Scotland and then journeyed wherever,
Sure.
and then he can share the experience with like the young gun, and that's fine.
And he came back because he felt him from Japan.
Great. But this is the other thing, and I don't know 100% geography, so someone may help me out. But if I understand correctly, Ramirez is 2,000 years old.
Yeah, he's more.
Yeah, over
Almost
2,000.
2,500. Yeah.
Did all of the said countries he's from
Pangea.
exist 2,000 years ago?
Ramirez
Now
is originally from Pangea.
Not with those names they didn't.
Yeah.
Like in 500 BC, I don't think that there was a Japan.
Yeah, he would have been from like what is it?
Pangea.
Not
Egypt.
Pangea,
Egypt
Yeah,
existed.
Yeah.
Egypt.
or like Mesopotamia. Is that
Ooh.
You guys are.
No.
Why are you guys going back hundreds of thousands of millions of years?
Yeah, no.
from Jurassic Park?
He's
You know?
he's from like 600 BC, right? Or so.
Yeah. Around that.
And so he could be like him being Egyptian makes sense, but he could also be Greek or Roman or whatever. But
Yeah,
then
now we're talking.
if he says he was like in his present day in Scotland in the 1500s, he says, I'm the chief metallurgist for King whatever of Spain. Why is he a metallurgist? Let's leave that aside.
Something Lobos.
Yeah.
Why? No.
896 BC.
You listen, Pendejo.
896.
You listen
Stop
to me
looking
good.
at haggis.com. We don't care.
It's not. You asked how old he was or like when he was born. Somebody
That
else.
was in the movie. He did say, so it's fine.
Yeah.
When? He said, oh, he says
Uno
2,400 and
cerveza,
whatever,
por
right? But, pendejo.
Pendejo.
He, like, Spain didn't exist, but he didn't need to exist back then. He only needs to exist
Anyways,
now.
it's
right?
it's where
I think that's why they picked Egypt.
sure.
It's like, oh, I'm sure it existed back then.
it's you know, we're going down the rabbit hole because it's just the movie annoys us. But like when you come back to the accents, it's just one of these things where it's just like none of this had to be a thing. You could
What
have
about
just changed it.
What about the Russian Kurgan?
Yeah, I was gonna say even Clancy Brown is like
Clancy Brown doesn't give a fuck.
he's just like I'm slightly southern white
I
dude.
think-
Midwest, I'd say.
Midwest.
This is what I think happened with Clancy Brown. I think Clancy Brown, or sorry, the Kurgan. I think that he has been alive for so long that one of his passions, other than killing, is
Languages?
languages. And so
But
he
he
took
was-
the time.
Was that
to
the case
learn.
in the 1500s as well?
Yeah, when he was talking
Yeah.
about battles.
He created his own accent, which would be exactly like the American accent.
And he spent so much time in the American Deep South. Clearly, he likes to kill, so he's getting things going in there and all the slavery
topical.
and stuff. And and so they all took on his accent because they liked his kind of his jib.
So he came up with that accent, and then the Americans copied it from him. Okay.
So you're saying he's the birth of the English dialect.
Well, the American English.
The American
dialect,
South dialect.
That tracks.
yeah. I just went fucking. Bless your heart.
Bless your heart, sugar.
Yeah.
Kurgan power.
He would definitely say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right. No.
Yeah, I mean, the other accents were okay. It's just the big three were the big problem, right?
Yeah, it's funny because the side characters, they all tried.
Yeah, they're like
Well,
the
Christopher
wife.
Lambert tried too. Like his accent, like when he was in Scotland, it was like Sometimes it would come up.
Yeah.
She'd be like, "Oh, you're my husband. I love you." And he's like,
I love you too, honey.
No, he would try, but then
Yeah.
sometimes it would be
I
Heather,
blossom my
please,
will.
like in no accent at all.
"Heather, Heather, please." He's like trying to copy Sean Connery.
Why didn't he do that? Right? He should have just done that.
How
Just
did
do
you
a Sean
do
Connery
that,
impression the
Sean?
whole time.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Heather, please again. Heather, please. Jesus, Connor, we're just joking.
Do as I say, woman.
Just as yeah. That was that too. Go back in the house. I'm sorry, the house.
No, he didn't do that. He said house.
No, he did say house. Yeah,
Go back in
course.
Go back in the house.
All right. Well, I think we've covered those plot holes.
Connor, dear, what is your accent?
succinctly.
I don't know.
There's actually one more gaping plot hole.
Ooh, okay.
It's Kurgan's neck scar.
Yeah, I wrote that down too.
How?
Why?
Like, immortals are supposed to regenerate. Like they can't die, and they were supposed to regenerate from everything.
Yeah.
How does a scar stick around? I didn't.
And why?
Their necks are the sensitive areas.
And why?
sure.
Why does he staple it like 500 years after he?
That was a
his neck
fashion
was
choice,
cut?
and you know it.
Yeah, I'm in disguise.
Those were way too loose
I'm
to be
in
doing
disguise.
anything.
Yeah, I'm in disguise. I walked into a swarm of flying knives, and I'm in disguise now.
I stapled myself.
Those staples were a fashion choice, and you all know it because they were loose. And secondly, his neck didn't heal because there's like their nipples, a sensitive area.
Okay.
Okay. Tracks. AKA, one of Kurgan's aliases was Keith Samples.
What?
Get the fuck out of here with your Wikipedia.
What are you talking about?
Move on.
Highlander.
Just move on.
Highlander.haggis.scotland.com.
Fucking
.net.
.com.net.
.org.
Jeeves. Anyways, different questions.
Oh, thank you. We're actually going to take a break. And we'll be right back
We'll
after
be back
these
after
messages.
these short messages.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Booger sugar. Can I pee now? Shit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Holding your fucking note until Kimpamunga.
Then we come back. I'm gonna go.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to
We never left.
part 2. Whoa, seamless. It's like time didn't stop at all. Thanks, Spencer. Right on time.
Right on cue.
Let's dive into section 3, where we ask some fun questions to really explain what the Highlander was all about. Very beginning of the movie, Connor has a lovely lass named Kate. Kate is into Connor in a major way, and even gets his cousins, I guess they were, right?
His dutiful,
Yeah.
dutiful
promise.
girl.
Sure. To promise that he won't die in battle. And he comes back. He didn't die, technically. They did a job. He just got stabbed through everything based on where the sword went into him.
They do bring him back alive, so
He's not dead. Anyways, Connor survives. Kate is extremely pissed off about this. Like,
I mean,
crazy
yeah.
pissed off.
What if
She's like her face is. There's way too much glee in her face when she says, "Kill him, stone him." It's
not only that,
concerning.
when his friend Augustus, I think
Sure.
his name was
Angus.
Angus.
No, Augustus is not Roman.
way more appropriate. Angus tracks. He's like, we will exile him. She's literally like, no!
Yeah. Burn him! Burn him!
Augustus, please.
Augustus.
I did hear that. Anyways, my question is, it's clearly not just about the fact that Connor is, immortal and risen from the dead and might be the spawn of Satan. What was it? What did Connor do that made Kate hate him so much?
She
Left
spent
the
so much
toilet
energy.
seat up. No,
Sure.
left the toilet seat up. That's what he
Sure.
did. That's what he did.
And
They don't have
One too many
toilets.
times.
They have
There's a
They didn't
toilet
have
seat?
toilet seats.
Fair point.
What did they have? They used like holes in the dirt.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe a bucket.
A bucket. Yeah.
Will you shit in the hole, my love? I blossom.
Okay,
my will.
so he left the bucket lid open. That's what happened.
Okay. You know what? You've had your time. Moving on.
Okay, fair enough.
I think she mourned it, like when he was on his deathbed and she was like wailing and stuff like that, and then Angus told her to stop crying. I think that's like a huge. That's like, what is it? It's like a double Big Mac size of emotion that you have to swallow, and then like process and push down. Then Connor comes back to life, and she's like, I swallowed all that emotion.
Yeah, I famously
So you're saying
would
it's
rather
PTSD?
people I love die than me deal with them coming back.
Yeah,
Too much.
her brain was wrinkled.
All our brains are wrinkled.
Yeah,
They're supposed to be wrinkled.
it's
Yeah,
supposed
you
to be.
smooth brain.
I
fuck.
think yours is smooth.
No. Our brains have different grooves, but if with each
Hey,
segment,
No.
wrinkle.
Actually, your brains are. Answer the question,
I already did.
Spencer.
I think
The question, the answer is Chris is smooth brained. That's the answer.
Yeah, I think she recently going into this battle. She took out a sizable
Nice.
account on her
It's
Scottish
true.
life insurance policy.
Famously,
Who you got
No.
on the McLeods? I'm gonna put some money on
No, she
Connor.
wasn't betting on him to die.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
Sounded,
she was.
sounded like it to me.
She was technically,
she's
but
not going to the bookies.
she's not
Well,
going
it's
to the
actually-
Scottish bookies.
no, but I think Chris is onto this because I don't think insurance existed yet.
What?
But I do think that life insurance was essentially betting on whether or not your partner come back from the
I
war.
like this.
What you're saying is she did a Deadpool.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think she was.
Okay.
She's like, I want him to live, but just to
In
ease
case.
my
Yeah,
heartbreak.
it's hedging your bets.
I'm
if
gonna-
he comes home, great. If he's dead and I'm rich,
Even
also great.
Moolah. Yeah. He's like, I can feel the void in my heart with a lot of money.
I'll wipe my tears with all of my coin.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
exactly.
You know what? Just in case, I'm gonna throw a couple thou shekels. what are they? What are they working with?
Shekels?
Doubloons.
Doubloons?
I believe it's doubloons.
Gal-
Why shekels of all things?
That's what I don't know. It's one of the oldest currencies.
Okay.
Not.
Is it not? Okay. What did they
God.
use back in?
Gold.
It
Gold.
would just be gold. Yeah, they didn't have shillings or anything.
whatever.
They didn't have any currency back then.
No, they're just.
I'm
But
sure
it's like
Okay, I'm gonna
Chickens?
look while you answer this question.
coin of the
What is it?
realm.
They didn't have
Trade
coins,
and
but they had
barter.
buckets for shitting.
The coin of the
The
realm.
bartering system.
Yeah. It's right. It's the bartering system. So she put down
His
three
life.
chickens.
Wait, how do you trade? How do you bet someone's life? Oh no, you would say, if he dies, I get
Yeah,
a cow
couple
and
chickens,
a couple chickens,
and a shit bucket, a brand new
Hey,
shit
listen,
bucket.
those cows with the fucking toupees are cool.
Okay,
So that's a good.
and I
prize.
get your shit bucket.
right.
'Cause
And so the
McLeod
problem,
shat all over
right?
my.
And so Spencer, you've nailed it. The problem with this bet is, if you lose the bet,
And he
You
comes
gotta
back
pay up.
alive. You got to pay up. She'd have to give whoever she bet.
and she doesn't have,
She does not have a cow, 3 chickens,
spent
and
it
a
all.
shit bucket.
yeah.
Angus steak, prime rib. She ate it
So
up. Like that night when
she
he died,
ate Angus.
she ate her Angus cow.
That brings
He
up a whole
died.
other question.
Connor died, so she spent and like lived it up in one night. She like, in order to process all that, she used everything. She spent it, like
Right,
whatever she
because
could spend.
She was certain he was dead.
Let
She's
me
like,
ask you-
damn,
Sidebar
prime rib,
on this.
tomahawk.
Just because you said he ate Angus, if they were stuck in the middle of nowhere and had no food, could she eat him and he regenerate and then be able to survive off his meat?
Yeah.
Oh, now you're asking the real questions.
It's a great
Yes.
question, but unfortunately, I don't want to
we're
ask
out
it,
of
so we're not
time.
going to.
So
Next question.
just to answer the question, the currency was the pound Scots.
Told you.
Sure.
Get
Coin of the
off your
realm.
freaking
Told you it was the pound Scott.
coinoftherealm.com fucking factual internet hootie what's it.
Listen,
This is not about the movie, you idiot.
can you rewind
What
it
it's
and
about.
Can you rewind it to when I
These
said
nuts.
it was the pound Scott?
Sure.
I can't.
I definitely didn't say shekels.
Unfortunately, we can't. We have to move forward only in time.
Okay.
Stupid
Next
linear
question.
time.
Stupid linear time. Hey, we talked about Fassel, the definitely not white man.
Yo.
Why? What's with the backflips?
So many backflips. He backflips off the car first, and I was like, "Wow, that was
cool.
Exquisite dismount for no reason."
Yeah.
And then proceeds to be like, "I learned this recently, and I'm going to use it."
Yeah.
So he backflips down the
He
hall.
fights for another 3 seconds and then just backflips. He doesn't go anywhere without backflips.
Right. So why?
Basically.
Why does he backflip?
Because
so
he
much?
paid for those lessons, Matt, and he fucking well is going to get some money out of it.
Going to be a
some
gymnast.
value out of it.
When I win the prize, I'm going to the Olympics. I'm going to be the I'm going to be the winningest immortal that ever fucking lived throughout history.
Like,
gotta practice.
And you don't know this, but he's like a 45 to 50-year-old man, I believe.
Oh,
and for
at
him,
least
He was spry.
he's very pudgy.
So for him to
Yes.
learn that, it took him at least 200 years of practice.
See?
Okay,
See?
that's fair.
So if he put the time in, he's gonna make the most of it.
It's just, at this point, it's
Sounds
just
like your
faster for
sex
him
sounds
than
gross.
walking.
It is, but it's also flipping.
Oh boy.
Many questions, but we're not asking about that.
Not the venue.
We're staying away. No, so I just was wondering if maybe when he was training to be an immortal
Olympian.
champion, that sure, same difference. That someone was like, so listen, they can't kill you on holy ground, but also they can't kill you when you're backflipping.
Yeah, because if you're backflipping, they can get to your head.
That's
And they can't kill you at the Olympics. Too many eyes.
It's also a holy ground.
Hey, good
Nailed
callback.
it. Moving on. Why the fuck was Connor McLeod at a wrestling match that he clearly hated?
like I just thought it was funny from a there's a reason I'm sure, but from a movie making point of view, I thought it was funny that they had him at the wrestling, because it was like, I think in their minds when they're making, they're like, this is the closest thing we have to modern battle, and then it cuts back to
Duels?
then it cuts back to like duels, and it cuts back to like the old time fighting to the death. And I guess this was before wrestling being super fake was really known.
Again, not boxing in one of its fucking heydays with Mike Tyson.
No.
Mike Tyson at the height of his powers.
That's cool. My bad.
But they didn't have the budget to show.
Wrestling is definitely it.
They already tried to convince us that whatever fucking hole they were in was Madison Square Garden.
You shut your whole mouth.
First of all, that probably was. But why was he there?
He was looking. There was before Fazil showed up. Connor wanted to go and watch some like fisticuffs, right? Some WWF fisticuffs. But there was an immortal in that ring. Like, that's why he was ice cold grilling that ring. He's like, Jimmy Fly Snuka, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. And when I fucking get you, I'm going.
Jimmy Fly Snuka.
That's a new name. That's a real
wrestler.
name. Yeah,
that's
man.
a real wrestler.
Learn your fucking history.
No, I don't want to. I hate wrestling.
Silence. And then he's like looking at him. And when I get into the ring, I'm gonna snap into my Slim Jim, and then I'm gonna use my quickening slam to sever your head.
You never go full Macho Man.
Yeah,
you always do.
You always go. I think to add to Chris's point that maybe the person that he was stalking who was a wrestler was actually Fazil, and he was actually the Iron Sheik.
Yeah, he tracks.
Because he was clearly
I hate all of this.
Iranian descent? Fazil? I'm just gonna guess.
Yeah, why not?
So he was watching him perform.
It's not any worse than all the misogyny in the movie, so sure, why not?
So and then when he left, and then he saw him in the stage when he was doing his famous Sheik Slam, and then he followed him to the parking lot to get the jump on him.
And he just wanted to ask what the Sheik Slam. That's why I said, "Wait, Fasil, can we talk?"
He was just a fan.
Right.
Yeah. How did you perfect your Sheik Slam?
Wait, was that Christopher Lambert?
I have no idea who that
Man
was.
Savage?
I don't know. My Lambert's no good. You're the Lambert aficionado.
Was that Macho Man Lambert?
Macho Man Lambert, yeah.
After a hot Macho Lambert?
Macho Man Christopher Lambert.
Hello.
Luchador
My
Lambert.
name is Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Mortal Kombat. And when you step into the ring, ooh, yeah.
The cream of the crop. The cream.
You
of
may
the
not
crop.
like it, but respect it. Heather, please.
I think it's Miss Elizabeth, please.
Hey.
You want to be totally accurate? No, I think that answered that question completely, and I want to move away from it as quickly as possible. All right, this is a big one. Normally, we don't ask these questions too much, but I think it's important for this one. As we talked about before, we love the idea of Highlander, and we're just not happy with the implementation of Highlander. There have been other variations on Highlander. We mentioned Jet Li's the one. There was also Infinite. I think that marquee disaster vehicle.
Yep.
But I think what really needs to happen is that the West Side Boys partner up with Zack Snyder, and they're going to reboot
I'm in.
the Highlander.
I thought you wanted to fix
This is
this.
death from Jump.
I'm just asking a question. I don't know where it came from. And it's going to, we're going to reboot Highlander for 2026 release window.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta get this made fast.
Well, they get that money. They're all with the money. Like December, Christmas release,
We
obviously.
gotta jump on this trend while it's hot.
Get on the Highlander while it's hot.
I think the first thing you have to do is, keep the casting choices, honoring the original. So you cast like Mike Myers as Ramirez. He can do a Scottish accent, right?
Yeah.
You can do a
Great.
well, donkey.
Oh.
Donkey! Yeah.
My,
Wait a second.
My
Are we
name's-
onto something?
Juan Ramirez.
Are we just making Shrek 5 at the same
No,
time?
no, I've cracked it. I've cracked it. This is
we're
how
onto
you make
something
it
here.
good. Like, I know we're for
What do
comedy,
mean?
but
we
you
just
guys
did.
Mark Strong for Ramirez.
Nah.
What?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
What? Mark
Yes.
Strong for Kurgan.
Mark
Too
Strong.
old.
Mark Strong over Mike Myers.
I don't see it.
Shrek version.
You want this to be good? You do Mark Strong. You
You're
want it to be
saying
a
Mark
joke?
Strong
Go.
over making this into
Chris.
Shrek 5.
Chris, I
There's a path.
already told you that it's the West Side Boys and Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder.
Oh, thanks for reminding me.
well,
can't
if
be
it's,
on the
Mike
good
Myers.
path.
Mike Myers stands.
Yeah, okay.
Well, so
thank
Thanks
you.
for the
Zack-
reminder.
if it's Zack Snyder, then you have to get like Ben Affleck to play Connor McLeod or something like that.
I thought we were having Mike Myers play every character.
Yeah, wasn't that clear?
Eddie Murphy style.
Yeah. No, Mike Myers style. He does every character too.
And you
that's
call
true.
it the Immortals.
Oh no!
No, it's called Shrek
Get the
5.
prize! Get the prize! Get the prize!
It's called Shrek 5, and it's a live action sequel to an
Yep.
animated film.
Oh my god!
Shrek 5,
The Quickening.
Highlander.
the immortal quickening.
The Shrek 5, the quickening. I like it.
Quickening, yeah. We're taking it back from Highlander 2.
Donkey, there can be only one.
I will say though, in this new movie, because one of the concepts that's cool is they're all obviously immortal, and I like the idea in this movie that like one guy's like from Egypt. It'd be cool if they were all like from different cultures, like really old cultures.
Like Street Fighter?
Yeah, and like they're meeting
Japan!
way later, and he's like, I was a samurai, I was an Egyptian, like. I mean, I am Egyptian, but like I was from,
I was.
the Egyptian
Can we get
culture.
Can we get a capoeira guy from Brazil?
And a capoeira guy from, obviously, like a guy from Africa, like the oldest tribe in Africa, obviously played by Mike Myers.
You want someone from India, Mike Myers will play Dalsim.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Yoga! Donkey!
what's one element that they could have used? Like showing the different cultures, because in this movie they're all Scottish, even though they're not actually all Scottish.
Also, all these immortals are mega white except for Castigear, and there's no female immortals.
Well,
They
yeah.
exist, but they're not here.
It's fine. Mike Myers will fix that.
Hey.
And the other thing is, I think the prize at the end should be there is no prize.
Also, I think one character that Mike Myers shouldn't play is Kurgan.
Wrong.
That should be Dana Carvey.
Oh, master of disguise.
Exactly.
I'll
Not turtly enough for the
Kurgan.
Kurgan
Yeah.
Club? Am I
Yeah,
Kurgan
exactly.
enough for the Kurgan Club?
Yeah.
So if we're putting a variation on this, should we? We're still chopping off heads with swords. Should we put a variation of that into play as well?
It'd be cool if you had like someone who tried a different thing, and were like using a shotgun to blow people's heads off.
Shrek should do that.
Okay.
All right.
Wait, is the donkey also an immortal?
Is it like they have to be like
What a stupid
watermelon clapped?
fucking question.
Of
Is
course,
the
yes.
donkey also immortal?
Donkey
Of course.
Ramirez is immortal. We've covered that
Donkey
already.
Ramirez.
He's played by Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
He's the only
Yeah.
other cast member.
No, and Dana Carvey, of course.
No, it's Mike Myers playing Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Playing donkey.
I thought that was clear the whole time.
I'm sorry, my
Look at
bad.
that
Thank you.
boulder. That's a nice boulder.
All right, moving on.
This shit is doomed.
No,
Oh,
you're
this is
great.
so much better.
Doomed to succeed.
The
Yeah, thank
WB,
Doomed
Always.
to dominate the box office.
the WB puts out great successes. Have you not heard of Joker Folie à
Joker
Deux?
2, yeah.
Oh.
That's doing great. I said topically.
You know what? Matt makes a great point. It should be a musical.
Oh, good point. Yeah, Mike Myers can do it. That's fine.
Yeah, of course, 100%.
Donkey, there can be only one.
Why is he drunk? Oh, because he's Scottish.
There's
That's
only
racist,
one.
but okay.
Yeah.
I am the Highlander.
No, they should all be singing Queen songs, obviously.
I don't know how any of those songs go.
What was you
He didn't
singing?
want
What's
that
the song
didn't
called?
sound.
Prince of what?
The universe.
Next question.
We
Next
are
different
the
question.
princes of the universe.
What is that?
Sounded like you started off singing Kanye for a second.
Yeah.
No, you never go full Kanye.
No, please
no, you
don't.
Let's ask one more question before we're done
Should
here.
we?
The Kurgan.
Mm-hmm.
The Kurgan is pretty much a ripoff of Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator from the first movie.
Okay.
Like at some points, it seemed like they were doing a shot for shot with the leather jackets and the telling people not to talk to him and like slow pan turning and rah,
And the immortalness.
the immortalness. So I mean, let's ask the question: who would win a fight straight up, the Kurgan or the OG Terminator?
Is this the Shrek version of Kurgan?
I leave it open to your interpretation. I'm just asking.
Dana
I'm
Carvey's
asking the
Kurgan?
Kurgan versus the OG Terminator. You fill in the blanks from there.
There's one big question here.
You sure?
Does the Terminator know that the only way to kill him is to cut off his head? Or does he have to figure that out through trial and error?
It's a
think
great
they should
question.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
I think if he knows that, it's a pretty easy win for him.
So I think that he doesn't know that,
I think
and
that's-
also the Kurgan doesn't know that the Terminator
He's a robot.
is made of metal. He just thinks he's a mortal man. Right?
Until like
he thinks he's
they duke it
another
out.
immortal. He thinks he's
No,
another.
he just thinks he's a man. He doesn't know he's like a fucking T1000 or
But we're
T800.
answering
Because he's not. He's the T800. But
Yeah,
But if this thing plays out, like they're
why
gonna
are you getting all serious with me here? I'm just laying out
But it's fun.
I'm laying out the facts. The fact is that Kurgan doesn't know he's a T800 model,
Okay.
Skynet, cybernetic, whatever monster, and the Terminator has no idea that you have to chop the Kurgan's head off.
so if you're laying the facts, I'm going to lay on you the fact that they probably wouldn't fight. They'd just be best friends.
You got me there.
Well, that depends. Where does Mike Myers fit in all this?
Well, that depends.
Mike Myers plays the motorcycle.
Mike Myers plays the Terminator.
You just heard him say that Mike Myers plays the motorcycle.
Yes,
That's the most factual. That is the most factual computation of this scenario that
No.
there could ever be.
And Dana Carvey also plays the Terminator as his character Hans from Hans and Franz.
We're about to pump you
up.
I think the Terminator wins, and I'll tell you why. I see this going out as Kurgan going for the attack first because Terminator takes his time and doesn't worry about anything. He goes with a sword because that's his weapon of choice. With most humans, he seems to just stab them through the chest.
Mm-hmm.
First things first, he's going to go for a chest stab. If he's lucky, I mean, he'll hit the metal and it's not going to even penetrate. It's just going to be like,
well, he has a modular sword. He's going to hit the metal and the sword's going to come apart.
That's true. The sword probably will break, and that immediately is going to be a problem. Terminator.
Damn, this sword from IKEA.
I think the Terminator is going to
sword
probably...
with like the O has a little like circle.
Umlaut.
Yeah, no, a circle above it.
Oh, sure.
And I think Terminator will probably just grab him by the collar and like throw him. That tends to be the turtle.
Yeah.
Terminator's like move.
Right.
And then the more that Kurgan goes at him, the less I don't think there's really anything Kurgan can really do to him.
Yeah.
There's no modern.
But
modern
the Terminator
day
also wouldn't figure out. Like he would try to shoot him and all that stuff, and nothing would happen.
I think he'd just keep shooting him. I think through trial and error, eventually he would rip his head off. I think that would happen before.
Battle of attrition.
Yeah, that would happen before Kurgan figures out any kind of way to penetrate the Terminator's exoskeleton.
I think the Kurgan runs him through immediately because he has the power from the quickening, either killing people and the explosive swords. He can blow walls, implode walls.
That's true.
He's going to
take that into consideration.
In the Terminator.
He hits the Terminator. The Terminator explodes and falls forward.
Yeah. Yeah. When he hits his metal chest, the metal chest explodes outward.
Yeah, exactly.
That tracks.
Problem solved. We're good. Let's wrap this up with our patented rating system. S tier is the highest. F is the lowest. We put something somewhere in between sometimes, depending on how we're feeling. Chris, we'll let you go last after we shit all over your movie.
Hey,
you can try.
You don't know that.
Spencer.
This movie
do the thing.
Had a disturbingly low, had a serious lack of Shrek and Mike Myers, which I know we fixed, but the problem is there, whether you like it or not. I mean, for concepts, I will give this, high rating, good idea, but execution-wise and age-wise, this movie's you could feel its age big time. So, as someone who'd never seen it and didn't have nostalgia or rose-tinted glasses, I'm looking at you, generation boomer.
Fuck you.
It's X, motherfucker.
Okay, boomer.
I just repelled you with this. Anyways,
sorry, I'm cracking myself up over here.
Heather, please.
You know what? You make a good point. I was going to give this movie a D, but for the Heather please scene alone, it gets pumped up to a C because that made me laugh harder than any comedy I've seen in a long time. That and the jump cut from the old lady in the car to her being on the hood in the next shot.
Yeah.
was fantastic. The wife crying that they weren't killing her husband. Also got some and the backflips. So those four scenes alone elevate.
Sounds like you're moving it up from the roster.
No, from a D to a C.
Okay.
So that is my ranking, good sirs.
I'm glad we maintained the sanctity of our rating system.
Thank you.
Luciano.
So, unlike Spencer, who's a child, I did watch this movie back in the day, and I started this movie with rose-tinted glasses, but by scene 2, I had thrown the glasses away and wish I could have thrown my eyes away.
I picture the red tint from the glasses bleeding out of the
draining.
glasses.
Yeah,
just like
bleeding
blood
out.
pouring out of the cracked glasses.
Yeah, and me just crying from one eye. I used to love this movie, and I've said this to Chris on our chat and said, fuck you for making me watch this again, because it does not. This movie aged like a fine glass of milk, and it's like the acting is horrible, the effects are horrible, the story is weird, the scenes are the worst part. Half of them don't make any sense. Like I kept referring to this, but that scene in the bar where he meets Brenda and she goes like, "Are you following me? I'd like to follow you, to walk you home, Brenda." It's like, what the fuck was that? And then he does, and they go out and whatever. It's like, none of that makes sense. So
No, Brenda, don't do it.
Yeah, don't bring this fucking maniac to your house. He's gonna look in all your drawers and find your gun and probably your panties. But anyway, if you had asked me before I rewatched it, I would probably have given this movie an A.
Uh-oh.
If I had never watched this movie, I would have given it an E. So I was just split the difference somewhere there and give it a C.
Okay.
Just it gets the C and not the E because of the nostalgia factor for sure.
That's
the premise
fair.
is good. The implementation is horrendous.
I mean, that's going to come down to this very similar thing for me. The premise is interesting, very, very thought provoking. Seems really exciting. Spencer's right. It's stuck in this weird zone of like it's campy as hell, which makes it funny, and then unintentionally funny. But it also, every once in a while, you ask questions about what's happening, like why does Rachel exist? And they never answer it. They don't. It's just
true.
like
We didn't even talk about her.
and I'm just like, why? Maybe it's the director's cut that just threw Rachel in, and so it's just like, the movie could have been tight. And
who's Rachel again?
So Rachel is a little girl he saves in Nazi
During
Germany.
World War II, yeah.
And then
I completely forgot about that.
And he goes, "Hey, it's a kind of magic."
Yeah. And the big reveal later on is that this blonde woman who works at his antique shop was Rachel all along.
That was her.
Yeah.
My sweet Rachel.
His adopted daughter.
I didn't get that.
Who looks
That
like his
wanted
mom.
to bang him.
Yeah, he's
Also that.
not a good father figure.
Anyway, so all of that complication aside, I also would give it a C because it's really like it's one of those things where I probably would watch it again, even knowing how terrible it is.
Yeah.
Like I
But
want
then
to
you
show people.
watch it for how
Yeah.
terrible it is, right?
Exactly.
There's scenes like I'm
Yeah.
going to show my wife the scene where he says, "Heather, please."
Heather,
right
please!
now.
Yeah.
Like when I leave this podcast.
My wife got up halfway through the movie and refused to watch the rest of it. So
My wife was sort of watching with me. I had the headphones on, and every time I looked at her, she was like this. She was going like, this. "What the fuck? What is happening?"
My wife walked in like in the second half of the movie, and she was like, "I thought this movie was about like the Scottish, like Highlands." Because I told her about it like before I watched it. 'Cause I was trying to get her to watch it with me. I'm like, it's about like you'll like it. It's like the Scottish, realm, like for these immortal beings. And then she's like, "What the fuck?" When she walked in, then she walked in with a bald, leather wearing like Clancy Brown. I got like
like licking a priest's hand.
yeah. She's like, "Are you watching the movie?" I was like,
I am but a worm.
Chris,
That's pretty good, Chris.
Yeah, you're
Chris-
nailing Clancy Brown.
defend your honor, Chris.
So this movie, since like we're gonna release this video, viewers, this movie's been absolutely wasted on my fellow co-hosts. When you watch this movie, forget everything that these clowns have told you. This movie is fantastic. It's trapped in the 80s, yeah, but that's its advantage. It can do everything it does because of that framework. I still love this movie. And I love what I don't care what face you make. You had your time.
Why are you
Fuck
crying
you,
though, Chris?
And you. I'm not crying.
Chris, why are
You.
I can see.
Silence. You had your time. This is my time. This is my review. Fuck your C rating, and your C rating. There can be only one rating. And it's a goddamn S.
No fucking
Take
way.
it. Take it and drink it with your bad milk.
We need a fucking
We don't need to
intervention.
agree because you're wrong. And so are you. And so are you. I
this feels
watched
like-
all of you shit on this movie when this thing is an epic. It's a cult classic.
This
The
feels like
sequels were weak, but this movie started it all.
this feels like
And you also had great points, but this movie's still good.
we may have touched a nerve with Chris.
A little bit. Yeah.
He'll
No, I
survive.
just disagree with you guys. And y'all,
We didn't even get to ask him the questions of like,
it doesn't matter.
why do you hate us for picking
I
this
don't hate
movie?
y'all. I was trying to share something fun with y'all. And I'm glad you had the reactions you did, but your ratings are wrong. That's okay.
If you, your reaction's a little bit stronger than a disagreement.
No. I'll see y'all next week.
I'm concerned.
I said good day, sir.
I'm concerned for the day when you aggressively disagree with us. If this is your just slight disagreement, we'll find out next week. Maybe we are going to watch.
Wait.
Spencer.
What about my rating?
Oh, sorry. Yes,
You
Christopher
rated
Lambert.
already.
Christopher Lambert, please give us your rating.
I thought I'd never get to speak again.
You talk to the whole fucking podcast, Christopher.
This is Christopher Lambert's time. I, for one, give this movie
a C for Coke.
I give it. I agree with your crazy co-host. It is an S. And you know why?
For Sean Connery.
You have Sean Connery playing the amazing Juan Ramirez. It's almost as good as Mortal Kombat. And for that, I give it 10 S's. Each S more powerful than the last.
But there can be only one, Christopher.
There can be only one review, and it is mine. Giving 10 S's. And because you interjected, it's now 11.
Sure.
Don't make me make it 12.
Why does Christopher Lambert also sound like the Count from Sesame Street?
There's so many.
I give
many
it
things.
1 S, 2 S, 3 S, 11 S.
So I'm not sure how to segue out of that. We're going to just skip it.
Yeah.
Next week,
S is for segue.
we.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
There
Thanks,
you
Chris.
go.
Thank you, Christopher. I appreciate
Thanks,
that.
Chris. Chris L.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And now I bid you adieu.
Oh, great.
I thought you were French. That was a terrible French accent.
Goodbye, Christopher Lambert. Go away now. Go back to Belgium or wherever you live.
Belgium or wherever you live.
Go get some Belgian fries. You poor man. Don't you put some respect on Christopher L's name. Anyways.
Okay, next week we're watching The Thing.
Oh!
The John Carpenter vehicle.
Yeah. Picked by Spencer.
John deserves
Yes.
it. Spencer,
Which
this is your pick.
Historically is troubling.
Well, I mean, listen. If 1985 wasn't going to deliver us a good movie, the only
1982.
answer was to go backwards even further.
Wow,
Yeah.
I can't believe that this movie
guy.
it's older than the movie we just watched because they
Yeah,
feel
it
30
is.
years apart.
It's fine. We're going to find out when we watch The Thing, the 1982 John Carpenter version. Because there's a 2011 one, which I also think John Carpenter did, but
No, he did not.
he did not.
No,
All right.
and that's
Never
a
mind
sequel.
then. You're a sequel.
S is for
How did you know?
You know, I'm going to save all the Thing facts for when we watch it next week.
That's a good
So,
idea.
Watch it, and we'll talk about it.
Is a good one.
Goodbye.